Rahele, I'm 17. The main things a person should know about me is that I'm a complete science buff. I'm obsessed with chemistry, and I have, I think, the majority of the periodic table song memorized.
And you're also winner of the Poetry Out Loud competition.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that competition for folks that don't know anything about it. What is it, and when did you get involved?
For the past 3 years, I've been involved in speech and debate, and through that activity, I've met some really amazing people. And my friends had started a poetry club when I was around, I guess, freshman year, and it's been a really cool thing to be a part of. And through speech and debate, my oral interp team, it's been kind of tradition for the senior to do poetry out loud. And basically, we would just send in preliminary recordings of 2 of the 3 required poems, and we kind of just would see what would happen. Back when my sister did this, she was runner-up, and this year was, I guess, my turn because I'm the senior captain, and I had sent in my preliminary recordings, and early March, my coach had told me that I became a finalist. So we did the state competition live over Zoom, of course, and then
the champion of the 2021 Poetry Out Loud South Dakota State Finals goes to Rahele Megosha.
I won. So now I'll be the South Dakota representative in the national competition.
How do you kind of prepare for something like that, especially in the weirdness of COVID and having to do it on Zoom?
For Poetry Out Loud, it's judged on accuracy and precision and presentation. So for me, it was really just memorizing different poems and different poets, but also trying to understand why they wrote their poetry. So it really took me and my coach 3 hours just to look up the poem, why it was written, what the poet was thinking, and try to really understand their perspective, but also put my own feelings and my own perspective into it.
And every night, I give my body up, limb by limb, working upwards across bone towards the heart. But morning comes with small reprieves of coffee and birdsong.
But at the same time, I think a big part of poetry is to just say what you feel. And so when I would be competing and when I'd be doing these poems, I honestly would just say it from the heart. So I think a lot of the preparation is in the lack of preparation.
What are some other parts of your life that are really important to you, ways that you like to be involved in your community?
Over the summer, obviously, I participated in a lot of Black Lives Matter protests, but honestly, my activism spans farther than that. I think I just believe in human rights as a concept itself. My involvement definitely started with protests, but at the same time, these amazing women at my school, they're a year younger than me, but they had been really involved in Black Student Union, and so I definitely participated in that a lot this year. I think we're going to start a women empowerment group, and even though I'm a senior, I think it's kind of something important, something we should probably get off the ground as soon as possible. A lot of my activism just comes from speaking my mind, the second I see something that shouldn't be going on, and I feel like that takes up the majority of my action, but I feel like that's probably the most important.
What's next for you after high school?
This year I applied to a scholarship program, and so through the program I received a full ride scholarship to Columbia, and so I'm going to be going to Columbia University next year. And I really want to major in biochemistry because, as I said, I'm a complete nerd for that stuff. And then where I go from there, I don't really know. I found a lot of interest in taking a scientific lens to how we understand racial bias. So we'll see. Everything's in the air, everything's possible.
What does it mean to be a good neighbor?
To be a good neighbor, you really just have to express yourself in any way you can and speak up any way you can. And I think we all understand when the right time is to speak up or why we should, but it all amounts to, do we do it or not? And I think that a good neighbor is someone that realizes that and takes action and really just thinks outside of themselves.